Choose life. Choose a job. Choose a career. Choose a family. Choose a fucking big television. Choose washing machines, cars, compact disc players, and electrical cinema units. Choose a podcast. Choose the Untitled Film Podcast. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Untitled Film Podcast. My name's Mike. I'm your host. With me, as always, is my co-host Lee.
How you doing? All right.
I am Peachy, and today we are joined with another special guest. You may well have heard him from podcasts alike of, I don't know, maybe Get to the Chopper. He's been on that once or twice. Mr. Damian Sayers is with us.
Hello, how's it going?
I am just good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks.
Good stuff. Now, Damian, you have been one of the most vocal supporters of this podcast, so I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you very much for leaving a like on every podcast that we've done so far, mate. It has been much appreciated, the support that you brought to the show. So to actually get you on the show and have a chat with you about a film, that's I'm looking forward to this one. It's going to be good fun.
Yeah, mate, thanks for having me on. I've listened, like I say, I've listened to all of them, and as you both know me from before. Before you started the podcast, that I love films. So yeah, anybody talking about film, particularly films that I'm, pretty fond of, I'll definitely listen to that.
Awesome. It is that time of the podcast. He's doing it early, but the dog has decided to come and bug me. So I'm just going to wait until he settles down on the sofa next to me and we can crack on. Okay, he's like, it wouldn't be an episode of the Untitled Film Podcast if the dog wasn't in here somewhere.
Has he not come walking in with your birthday cake, Mike? Because it is your birthday.
No, he hasn't. No, he's just come sat at me, on the sofa at the side of me, and now he's just staring at me. So, yeah, there's probably a very real possibility that he's going to piss himself in because he wants something, but I don't know what he wants. But we'll see how we get on. Right. So it's been how long's it been since we recorded the last episode together?
About 2 weeks, I think it has.
Couple of weeks. I'm kind of like losing track of time because I've done a couple of commentary tracks for the podcast as well, which I do on my own.
Getting old, Mike. That's what it is.
It is. You're not wrong, mate. You're not wrong. It doesn't help as well because I was on an early start at work this morning, so literally, I've woke up about 20 minutes ago and I got a message off Lee saying, "Are we ready to record? Damian's ready," and I'm like, "Oh shit, I best get a shift on." So I'm a little bit. Still a little bit groggy, but yeah. You don't get this kind of thing on podcasts like JR. No, don't you even start with that ball. Right.
You definitely started early tonight.
Yeah. Oh, God. It's just whenever he hears me, it's like when I'm on the phone to like, whoever.
He wants your attention, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is, yeah. Okay, so it's been a couple of weeks since we've last done a catch-up. I haven't really seen that much. So is there anything that you've seen in the last couple of weeks? We'll go with you firstly, and then we'll get to you.
We'll get to Damian, yeah. I don't think I watched anything recently because I say it's been it's only been like 2 weeks or something. It's not really watched anything. But I know Toy Story 4 is out this weekend, so I'm going to take my little girl to watch that. She's buzzing. She wants to go and watch that one, so I'll take her watching that. So by the time we do the next episode, which will probably be John Wick 2, then I'll give you a thoughts back on that one. But yeah, I've not watched much, but I did pick up that PlayStation 4 VR game, Blood and Truth it's called. I don't know if you two have seen it out and about in the shops.
I don't really look for PSVR games because I haven't got the VR headset for my PlayStation. So
yeah, and I've got an Xbox. So
yeah, I thought you had a PS4, Damian, or did you give that back?
No, I borrowed it off somebody. Like binged all the games I could for like I think I had it for a month, so I played about 9 games on there, like Last of Us, all the exclusives that you can't get, just like flew through them and had to hand it back. So I had a month of glory and that was it.
Well, I took the plunge anyway. I decided to pick it up, Blood and Truth, and it's an action game as well, and it's really actually pretty good. It's like a first-person shooter, but you kind of like on the rails when you're walking, where there'll be an arrow flash up and you just press forward or right and you'll go towards the arrow. You don't actually have like free roaming capabilities for walking around the levels. You just follow the arrows, and then you get to a certain point and then people start jumping up and like shooting you and stuff like that. And it's been a good story. It's set in London, so you got like the accent of like obviously it's all gangsters in it, so it's like fucking hell, and you know what I mean, and
Right.
stuff like that with the accent. Yeah, really good. But there was a PlayStation VR demo that came with a headset. I think it was called something like the Heist or London Heist or something like that. And I think it's from the creators of that game. Because we're in a little short demo, so they've put in truth from the creators of that game. So anybody who likes that game on the demo disc, definitely check out Blood and Truth. And that's all I've been up to recently. I've been getting on from work and obviously doing my running and stuff. And I've started back at the gym now as well, so I've been getting back into that. And then at night, at evenings, it's just been right. Okay, I've only got an hour and a half, so I'll bang this VR game on and just get stuck into that. I picked up The Walking Dead as well, the last Telltale game, the final season. I picked up that as well, so I've been kind of flipping between both games recently.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anything that's you've been catching up on recently, Damian?
I watched Chernobyl. Because everybody said to watch it, and obviously there's been loads of advertisements of it being the most successful, highest rated TV show of all time. So yeah, we watched that. Really enjoyed it. It's one of those weird ones where you watch it and you're like, I can't believe that they didn't have this, if they didn't do that, this happened. But just like very well, I did like it how they just got everybody speaking their own accents for some reason.
Yeah, they were just kind of like, we've got people just talking in the native tongue, deal with it, and it's amazing how quickly you just get past that.
Yeah, exactly.
You kind of bump into it for like the first minute or so, and then you realize, oh right, everyone's doing this, and then you just get past it. Because I think, like, considering the nature of the story and how it kind of like unfolds, and obviously it's based as much as possible on like real events. Give or take a couple of characters who were kind of like made up just for the sake of like brevity and storytelling kind of way. It would seem a little bit ridiculous to have people putting on kind of like fake Russian accents, considering how serious the kind of like the topic of the story is. So I think I was kind of like glad that they actually went that way with it. So
yeah, so I've got through that, but obviously that's not many episodes. What else do we watch? It's really annoying because I normally, if I watch a movie, I'll always sort of make a note on IMDb, you know, like rate it also. It stays there. But I don't do TV shows. I can never remember TV shows. I'm watching The Wire, but literally I'm on series 1. I think I'm about episode 7 or 8. So I've just started that. Because that's again, it's another like one on my list that I've always wanted to watch. Because again, everybody who's watched it said how good it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm onto that, and then movies.
How are you getting on with it?
I've enjoyed it so far. It's a bit slow.
I've really struggled with it. I didn't really get past season 1.
Well, people who I've spoke to said that it gets better. 2, 3, and 4 are like the best ones.
Yeah.
So I am, like, I know a lot of TV shows, do find a feat in like the second season. They don't always, start off great. Like I've never watched Always Sunny, but everybody says Always Sunny. You've got, series 2 is when it kicks off. Series 1's good, but so yeah, I'm gonna, if by end or halfway through series 2 it's still garbage, then I'll cancel that.
Yeah, sure.
I think that the seasons of The Wire all kind of like concentrate on a different aspect. So like one will concentrate on like the ports and the docks and all that kind of stuff. So it changes focus throughout the course of the season. But
good people in it, so hopefully, the writing will follow.
Yeah, I couldn't. I don't know. I think it was hyped up too much for me, and by the time I got round to it, I was kind of like, I'm not really seeing why everyone's raving about this.
That was the same with Orange is the New Black for me. A lot of people banged on about that, and I watched that, and I was like, I liked people in it, but I didn't like the main handful of characters. And
my problem with Orange is the New Black is that it felt like the writers were trying too hard to create characters, and they weren't. They were kind of missing out on the realistic aspects. They all felt like stereotypes. And I was like, is this how it's meant to be? Are they taking the piss to an extent, or are they going for something that's trying to be a little bit more deep? And I was just like, every character just felt like a 2D kind of stereotype, and
I know what you mean. Yeah,
they were just trying too hard to kind of like oh, we've got this character here, and we've got this. I was just like, no, not for me.
I
Not
think
for me.
I think you get that in a lot of prison TV dramas, or
Yeah.
like, I can remember, like Sons of Anarchy, when they went to the bit where they went to prison. There was like your group of Mexicans, your group of blacks, and
Yeah.
it always seems to be that of the prison guard who's real bad screw, and they all have
Yeah.
the same
Same with,
groups of characters and the same people.
same with Prison Break as well, wasn't it, as well?
I never watched Prison Break.
No, I didn't either.
Oh, I really enjoyed it. I thought season 1 of that was probably the best TV series I've ever seen
Yeah,
at the
I've
time
watched
when I watched it. And season 2 was pretty good as well. I think 1 and 2, definitely number 1 anyway, was by far the best, and then 2 was decent as well. And then it started like obviously going a little bit downhill. When it got to season 4, it's kind of like there's that many twists and stuff, and with the characters, you're thinking, oh, you know what I mean? You just couldn't keep up with all the twists and turns what were going into it. And then the season 5 has been out as well. I've not really got around to watching that, but I know they're doing a season 6. I think it is.
Oh, really?
Also.
I didn't know it went that far.
Yeah, I think they've started filming it now, or they've announced that they're going to start filming it. So, but I need to watch season 5 as well. But yeah, definitely check out season 1 and 2.
Yeah, I might do.
Yeah.
If I get past the wire, it might be the next one.
Yeah, definitely. I was hooked on season 1. It was one of them. I think I spoke about it before. One of the episodes, it was like finishing episode, and then they're dying like next day, thinking, I wonder what's going to happen the next episode. And I was caning it, watching like 3 or 4 episodes in the night, and finishing it finished watching them at 2 in the morning. I was getting up for work at 5:30 in the morning, so I get a few hours sleep just for getting watched. Yeah, getting into it. Yeah, loving it.
Yeah, it's good when you're doing that.
But the things you do, that's it. You don't mind being knackered the next day for work or whatever. Whatever you've watched is it's been enjoying. You've enjoyed it, yeah. So
yeah. And I think Killing Eve. I just remembered watching Killing Eve series 2 came out.
Mm.
So I want to say I've got the last episode of that to watch. If there's 8 episodes in a series, I think I've got one more to watch of that. But that's good. That's enjoyable. I don't know. Have you guys seen Killing Eve?
I haven't, but I've seen it come about, and it's kind of like caught my eye. So it might be one of those that I'll kind of like binge.
Yeah, it's
and
interesting.
see how I get on with it.
Yeah. I think the
first
first
Netflix.
No, BBC.
Netflix?
Just
BBC,
BBC. Yeah. Get it on the iPlayer.
Yeah.
I think they're all on there. I don't know. I think for a month or something on the iPlayer. But yeah, it's worth a watch, definitely. The Eve character in series 1 wasn't great. I wasn't that fond of her, but she's better in series 2. And the main character, Villanelle, she's brilliant. She's like fantastic. The actress who plays her,
Right.
Jodie Comer, I think she's called, or something like that. But she's great. And if you ever watch Killing Eve, just look for an interview with the girl who plays the Russian, and you won't believe it. I won't say any more than that.
Right.
No
there you go, listeners. Yeah.
Yeah. Any movies?
I mean, I've not been to the cinema much, but I watched Upgrade. That was on Sky.
Is that any good?
Fantastic.
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've not seen it yet. It's on my to watch list.
Yeah, really good. Just story, action, everything. Yeah, really good. A Simple Favor. I watched that, which was
I didn't mind that.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I think they both really work well together.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be an absolute train wreck because it's directed by Paul Feig, who did the Ghostbusters reboot and Bridesmaids, and I was like,
he's done that.
Great.
Yeah, he's the only one I can think.
Comedy.
It's sort of got funny parts in it, but it's not really comedy. I don't know.
It's a dark comedy.
But
it's pretty light on the comedy. So there is comedy in there, which is pretty dark, but it's more of a murder mystery whodunit type of thing.
All right.
And it's the cast that brings it through, like Anna Kendrick and believe it or not, Blake Lively. And it's just kind of like, really enjoyable, but in a understated way. I think that's what Paul Feig needed after the flop that was Ghostbusters. Just something that's kind of like a little bit routine, a little bit formula, and a little bit more straightforward. And I thought it worked really well. I actually really enjoyed it, but it is mainly down to Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively being pretty likable and unlikable.
Yeah, they're really good in those roles. Did Paul Feig also do The Heat, or was that somebody else? The one with Sandra Bullock. 'Cause that was terrible.
He might have.
If Paul Feig's not the one who does all the Melissa McCarthy ones. She's married to Ben Falcone, isn't she?
She is.
Yeah, and he seems to be in all.
Yeah, he did. He did The Heat.
Oh, he did. Yeah. He's done some terrible films.
Bridesmaids, The Heat, Spy, Ghostbusters, Simple Favor, and Last Christmas.
Spy was. I didn't mind Spy. I enjoyed Spy. There were some funny parts in Spy. That was probably the only one I'd say I enjoyed as a comedy.
I didn't watch it because Melissa McCarthy just winds me up.
Yeah, she's actually not bad in that, and Jason Statham's in it, and he's quite funny in it as well.
Right. Yeah, I saw the trailers and I was like, no, I'm going to skip that one because McCarthy just kind of like, she's the same person in every film.
Yeah.
I was thinking that about Statham.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a perfect film.
Yeah, I don't think Statham's ever topped, being Turkish in Snatch. So.
No.
Yeah.
But he doesn't care now because he's getting that Fast and Furious money, isn't he? So. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you read that the other day? I think it was Keanu Reeves has been signed up on it for Fast and Furious.
Oh, God.
I didn't read that.
Yeah, I read that. Yeah, I'm sure with Keanu Reeves, thinking, bloody hell, they're getting him all on board now.
I know that Marvel are trying to find something for him, but haven't really yet.
Yeah. Well,
he said he wants to be Wolverine, didn't he, or something?
No, he's not.
He's a bit too old.
No.
Or maybe
they're after him for the Eternals. I know that they're after him for some kind of role in the Eternals. But I read the other day that Kevin Feige said that he's offered him a role in pretty much every Marvel film so far, and it's not been the right fit for him or something.
Yeah.
So they are desperate to get him in something, and I think if anything, it'll probably be something in the Eternals. So,
just watch this space for that, wouldn't it? Yeah.
I don't care. I don't really care what he shows up as in the MCU. I just want Chapter 4 of John Wick. So, just give me more John Wick. Yeah, that's all I'm bothered about.
Unless he dies in 3. I haven't seen 3.
I've not seen it either.
But they always advertise like, oh, there might be John Wick 4. You're like, so he doesn't die in 3, then all right, fine. But I've seen news on that already where he's like, yeah, John Wick 4, and I'm like,
well, I thought. It's not really spoilers because they've already announced John Wick 4, but I thought the way that they kind of like built it up, and some interviews I saw going into Chapter 3, it felt like they were actually concluding the story with Chapter 3, and I thought, oh right, this is the end. And then when the end came, I was like, oh right, this really isn't the end. Excellent. So I'll take that all day long. I
know somebody who didn't watch till the very end of 1 and thought he was dead in 1.
Oh, really?
They were like, he died in 1, and I'm like, no, he didn't. He died. Yeah, he just laid on the floor and died, and I'm like, he gets up after that. I'm like, no.
He gets up and goes and gets the fucking dog.
Yeah, but he didn't watch
that's another thing, actually, I forgot to mention that I watched was John Wick 2. So I'm up to speed with, definitely with the, up to John Wick 3 anyway. Yeah, finally watched it, yeah. Because we were supposed to be recording, for listeners anyway, we were going to be recording John Wick this week as well. Last night actually, but Mike had to change his shift, so we had to cancel that recording.
Thanks
so I watched it anyway.
Throw me under the bus earlier.
I didn't mean to. So I watched that in preparation for that episode, and then obviously we didn't record it, but it's still fresh in my mind as well. But I'll get into it more in the episode. But yeah, I thought it was superb film.
Cool. Like I mentioned, I haven't really watched that much. What I did forget to mention the other week when I mentioned that I was watching like Chernobyl and that kind of stuff. I watched the Deadwood, the movie, which wraps up, the TV show that ran for like 3 seasons and then was cancelled, and then we never thought that we were going to get it, and then all of a sudden HBO were like, hey, here's the movie, have that, enjoy it, and really good, really like if you like the TV show, this kind of finishes it in kind of an almost perfect way. It's about as good as an ending as you're going to get, considering like it picks up like 10 years after the TV show finished. So if you've got any interest in Deadwood TV show, definitely like watch Deadwood the movie, because you've got all of the cast back, and it finishes like some of their stories in just like a really, really natural and kind of like well earned way. So
Is Tim Oliphant in Deadwood?
he is, yes.
All right, that's why I've never watched it.
And he's actually pretty good in it, mate. And
I really don't like him. I don't know why.
I don't like him personally, but he's in like two of my all-time favorite TV shows. He's in Deadwood, and even though he's kind of classed as like one of the main characters, Deadwood is more of an ensemble piece. It's more about like I'd say there's like 12 main cast.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
In Deadwood, so it doesn't focus. He's not the main character, even though he's billed as being like the main star of the show. He kind of like just kind of weaves in and out of the story. But Justified as well. That's one of my all-time favorite TV shows, and he's very much front and center in that. But even though I don't like him personally, I think he's a bit of a twat.
Yeah.
Especially if you've heard any stories between him and like Kevin Smith when they were shooting Catch and Release, he comes off as a
Ollie Fantastic.
Ollie Fantastic, yeah. But the character, the strength of the writing in Justified, and the character that he plays in Justified, it doesn't matter. He comes across as really cool in that, so it's definitely worth a watch, mate. Hopefully this weekend, because I've got this weekend off, I'm going to be catching up on some stuff that I haven't watched at the cinema. I need to go and watch Brightburn because I don't think that's going to be on very much longer.
What's the reviews been like Brightburn? Do you know?
I've seen some good, and I've seen one or two like kind of like middling. But it's one of them. I like Superman as a character, and this seems like a kind of like inverted take on the Superman origin story, which throw in a horror twist there, and I'm all over that.
You're sold, you're in there.
Yeah, definitely. I'm kind of I'm kind of on the fence about Rocket Man because I haven't watched that, but I've heard really good things about it. But I can't be arsed going watching it. I might just wait until Blu-ray. But I haven't watched Dark Phoenix. I've got zero interest in that. I'm not going watching Men in Black because that's been absolutely savaged in reviews as well. Toy Story 4, Child's Play, and something else is coming. Spider-Man's out next week as well, isn't it? So
that's
it?
Yeah.
You're gonna go back and see Endgame at the re-releasing Endgame with some extra footage or something?
No, it's just an end credit scene. I think they're just doing that to give it the final push, just to get it over.
Avatar.
Yeah. They're pretty close now, aren't they? But they just need to. Yeah, but Avatar got a re-release, if you remember. So the total that Avatar's got now is based on like the original theatrical run plus a re-release, which came a few months after. Yeah. So I would not be surprised if when we get to kind of like the quiet season at the back end of this year, if Endgame comes out again, just in a limited release, just to push it over and get a few more dollars in there. So
sounds like it's look, it's Malibu Stacy, but she's got a new hat.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, as if it, 2.7 billion isn't enough,
Yeah.
But
so what's the end credit scene? Have they announced what the end credit scene is going to be yet?
You'll have to go and see.
Have you heard anything, Mike?
I haven't heard anything, mate. No.
So they're keeping it pretty quiet certainly on that one.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves as Iron Fist.
I don't think they would have cancelled the TV show if that was the case.
Punching the guy who played him previously in the TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't they release a stinger for Spider-Man 4? Was it?
No,
you see that?
No, I saw the thingies and I was like, it's Marvel Comics and they're doing that thing again where they're being all cryptic and it's gonna be something of a letdown. When people saw it, they were like, "Oh, it's Spider-Man 4, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 4. They're gonna release it as a comic." It's like, no, they're not. They do this periodically from time to time. They did it a few months ago. They put a 4 out there. On Instagram and Twitter a couple of months back, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's Fantastic Four. They got the rights back, blah blah," and nothing came of it. It was, I can't even remember what it was, but I think it was just a comic run on something or other, and everyone was just kind of like let down. And it's like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You know what I mean? I've fallen for that before, so it's just like, it's not going to be what you expect. So
yeah, you're right.
Right. Okay.
Should we get into Damian's pick then?
Yeah. So obviously having a guest on, it's tradition to let them pick the film in which we're going to talk about. And Damian's pick was, well, he had 2 picks, and I'm a little bit annoyed at him because I was looking forward to his original pick, but then he decided to completely change direction, and go. Like, it's not even a 180, it's like a 360. You spun that far around.
I literally went through about 20 films before I even gave that first one, and then I'm like, oh no, maybe something else.
Yeah. So originally you asked Lee about covering LA Confidential, and I was like, yes, I am down for that, because it'd been on my mind about rewatching that film, and I was like, perfect excuse to go back and revisit it, because I love that film. I think it's fantastic.
It's probably in my top 5.
It's an absolute classic.
Yeah.
I don't think it gets enough. In retrospect, I don't think enough people talk about that film. But it's an absolute masterpiece. And then a couple of days later, I get a text message off Lee saying, "Oh, Damian's changed his mind and he's going to go with Brain Dead." And I was like,
"Okay,
fucking really, Brain Dead?" And I was like, "Oh, right, okay, fair enough."
I didn't have a hand in that, Mike. That was Damian's decision, not mine.
Yeah, good one. I don't believe that for a second, because this is right up your fucking street. This.
Yeah, I know. I would have been nudging Damian for Teen Wolf 2 or something.
Yeah. Lee was sending me a list of Michael J. Fox films to pick. I've never done.
Yeah. Casualty of War, Back to the Future, Secrets of Success. Yeah.
Well, you certainly got the Peter Jackson connection down there. So, we've got Brain Dead from 1992, directed by Peter Jackson, also known in the American market as Dead Alive. Justify yourself. Why did you pick Brain Dead over LA Confidential?
I want to say that I was just looking, basically, when I got asked to pick a film, I was looking through, I've got, I don't know, between 500 and 600 DVDs, Blu-ray DVDs. So I was looking through thinking, oh, that's a good one, maybe, and that one and that one.
What others were on your shortlist?
Yeah, I'm thinking that. What were your choices?
Bad Taste was another one. Obviously, the first film from Peter Jackson. Children of Men was on there, because I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
Clerks. Oh, Mallrats, actually. I think Mallrats was on there.
Well, I'm a big Kevin Smith fan, so I would have been okay with any of them. So.
I mean, I will tell you the story of my autographed Kevin Smith View Askew collection that I sold on eBay for £12. It went for in the end. And I'd bought a silver laser cut from the View Askew store in America, like box to keep them all in, like a limited edition box. And that was when I was moving house, and I thought, I'll put it on eBay and I'll probably get a fortune. All the say ad Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Jane Silent Bob Strike Back, all signed by Kevin Smith and some of the cast. So I'll put it on £10 minimum bid, whatever, and I'm sure I'll get a fortune. Now I got I even paid more for like boosting the listing. Literally got no bids on it. I was gutted, devastated.
I'm pretty surprised at that, because I mean he does have quite a big following.
This is like not long after Jane Silent Bob Strike Back came out, so
it's pretty much at the peak of his popularity then.
I would have thought, and I think somebody from eBay secretly wanted it, and they snuffed my listing out so nobody saw it.
Well, I think eBay is one of those places, because I remember this is going back a good few years, like when I first dug out that Spider-Man banner that I've talked about before. I threw that on eBay just to see what kind of interest there was in that, because obviously I think it's a collectible item, considering like it was the genuine banner. It was recalled because of the 9/11, and it's the image of Spider-Man with his eyeglass reflecting the Twin Towers, and I think the highest bid I got was £28, and I was like, really? For like a 12-foot banner, vinyl banner, which is pretty sought after. I've seen like the one sheet posters go for a fair few bob, but I think it was just a case with stuff like that is like pretty niche. I think timing's everything. Just when you
Yeah, I mean, I
to
was the
catch
same.
the
Like,
right person at the right time. It's
yeah, I was the same because when you got the Spider-Man banner from the cinema, from our time at the cinema, I got 2 Star Wars banners as well. One of them, both episode 2 as well. So one banner, it's the actual front, like the front cover art, the main cover art they used. So I've got that one, and the other one's like a landscape banner. Probably length of it's probably a good 8 foot long by about 4 foot high, something like that. Anakin on one side and Padme on the other side.
yeah. I remember it. Yeah.
You remember that one, yeah? And I've got them up in the attic here. And then a couple of years ago, maybe say about 6, 7 years ago, I thought, I'll bang up on eBay, see how much money I get from. No interest at all, nothing. No, I don't think anybody viewed it or anything. Yeah, nothing. So I don't know if I put it under the wrong category or what. I don't know, but there was no interest. And I'm surprised with it being Star Wars as well. I think you've got a Star Trek banner as well. On one side, it's Star Trek Nemesis. On one side, you've got I think it's Picard and Data on one side, and on the other side you've got the young Picard played by Tom Hardy. On the other side, it's different on both sides, but still no interest on that. So, as you say, just swings around a bit, isn't it? Sometimes with eBay.
Yeah, I threw it on like after Spider-Man 3 and before the Amazing Spider-Man came out. It was not long after they announced that they were rebooting it. I thought, oh well, Spider-Man's in the news again, so it's probably whipping up a little bit of interest. So I just thought I'll throw it out there and see what it's worth. I had no intention of actually fulfilling it and selling it. I was just gonna like see what like the highest bid was, just so I knew what it was worth, kind of thing. And then I was just gonna cancel it and say sorry. It's no longer available, kind of thing.
28 quid.
28 quid. I was like, absolutely not. It's worth more than fucking, 28 quid just, hanging on my wall, kind of thing, just for the memories.
And it's funny that though. It's funny that because that film is highly regarded, isn't it? The first Spider-Man film by Sam Raimi is highly regarded these days.
Yeah,
so I'm surprised you get more interest in that.
It's one of those. It kind of like films like that seem to kind of like ebb and flow with the popularity. They're kind of like popular 1 minute, and then like the internet kind of rages against it and say, "Oh no, it's cartoony and campy, and it's not, it's not what Marvel gives us nowadays." And it's like, no, it's not. But without this film, we wouldn't have the Marvel films that we have now. It was a stepping stone to get to that point. And back in like 2002, it was as good as it got. You know what I mean? It was by far and away the best comic book adaptation that we had up until that point. But it's it's weird because this is something else I kind of like think about quite often, especially when I'm looking at like films from when like me and you were working at the Cinema League. Like I remember because I was quite an avid, movie buff back then, even more so than what I am now. I would remember like picking up Empire magazine and Total Film magazine, and there was another film magazine going at that point. I can't remember which one it was, but I would remember.
Oh, there was that DVD review as well. Do you remember that one?
Yeah. So I'd remember reading reviews on certain films, and they were getting like 4 and 5 stars, and then you look at them now, and they get shit on a regular basis. It's like Yeah, I remember the original X-Men. I think was like 4 stars in Total Film, and Empire I think gave it 4 stars as well. But when you go back and you look at like the reviews now, or people kind of like looking at it now, people are saying it's one of the weakest in the franchise and all this kind of stuff. 2-star film, and it's just,
I still like X-Men, the first one.
I like I said to Lee, it felt like
it's not great.
Yeah, it's not. It kind of like comes to a bit of a wet fart conclusion, and they got it right with X-Men 2, thankfully. But again, it's a stepping stone because it was a really big film at the time it came out. It was like a breath of fresh air, and if we didn't have that film, we wouldn't have what we've got now. Which, when you think about it, what we've got now is Dark Phoenix and.
Yeah, we're not going back there again.
yeah, we didn't really need to get to that. Anyway, But
you look at it though, we did get Logan into there as well, didn't we? And you'd like to say your Deadpool and stuff.
Yeah, I think you had to go through
all that shit to get to that.
Yeah, you had to have X-Men Origins Wolverine before you get to Logan, because if people weren't so kind of like violently against how bad that film was, I don't think there would have been like an effort to actually improve. I think it would have just got steadily worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, and I think what they did plan though, with Fox as well, they planned to do that X-Men Origins Magneto, didn't they? Because
Yeah, they
Wolverine
announced that at the same time. Well, I don't know if they announced it, but they certainly announced their intention to do, because that was going to be the second in the origin films, and then there was going to be that was going to be the next series, wasn't it? They were going to go for their own individual spin-offs.
Yeah, they decided to knock it on the head, didn't they, and just tie it into First Class, because the First Class film is probably more Magneto's film, more
it's
so
definitely a
than
Magneto story.
Yeah.
So
because I think Days of Future Past is more Xavier's story, I'd say, opposed to Magneto.
Yeah, you're probably right with that. Yeah, because
I know Wolverine features in it at the start, but it's kind of like more connecting Xavier in it from his time from being young to when he meets himself when he's older, when he's
that was the big kind of like end shot in the trailer, wasn't it, with like McAvoy and Patrick Stewart coming face to face. That was kind of like the marquee shot in the trailer.
Do you know on the last episode, mate, when you mentioned that the original director of First Class planned to do that, to do First Class and then do a film before Days of Future Past, Days of Future Past was the third film. What was his idea for the second film?
He didn't go into it in the interview that I was reading it. He was just talking that they'd already had the script for Days of Future Past, but he didn't mention what the second story was going to be. And I was like, well, that seems a little bit strange to already have the script for the third, or what you planning as the third film. Maybe it was just the outline of what they had for Days of Future Past that they liked, and then they decided to fast track it and say that was going to be the second film.
Yeah, because that's where they screwed. That's where they screwed up. Because I think if maybe they listened to him and said, right, we'll do this sequel to First Class, and then we'll do Days of Future Past, it might have panned it better for them. But like we touched on last episode, and it Fox again just shafted themselves.
Yeah, well. That's it's all in the past now, so hopefully Marvel can bring it round in a few years' time. But
but definitely keep all that Spider-Man banner in here, Mike. I would. It's worth more than 28 quid.
Oh yeah, more than likely. That was a massive tangent that we went off on. Where were we before that?
we do warn you, Damian.
He knows. He's heard enough of these.
Oh yeah.
We're like the podcast with ADHD. It's just kind of like, we get distracted by a conversation to go off on. So we were saying, like, how do you get to Brain Dead from LA Confidential?
Oh yeah, and I was just going through a list of films I had. I was just thinking might be a good idea. I don't know the X-Men from there.
No, I can't even remember how we got to that anyway. So right, okay, yeah, Brain Dead. Let's get it back on track. Let's try and get it back on track. When did you first see the film?
I want to say I must have been around, I feel like I must have been about 13, 14, so I was quite young. But I've got an older brother, so like I got to see a lot of films.
Yeah.
He used to just get like hooky videos and, so yeah, we got to see like a lot. So yeah, I saw it when I was quite young. But I'd already seen a lot of zombies, Evil Dead, that sort of thing. So
the burning and all that stuff, toolbox murders.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so nothing that was, nothing. It wasn't going to shock me when I saw it. Funny story. So when we got our first video player, so my dad bought it, and I must have been about 7 or 8, maybe younger. I'm not sure. But my dad got 2 films from Video Shop. He got Mighty Mouse and The Deer Hunter, and we watched them both. About 6 years now.
Mighty Mouse.
So yeah, it's like, let's watch this film now, and it literally is about people shooting themselves in the head. I started off young watching gory films. But yeah, 14 years old, and yeah, it blew my mind when I saw it for the first time. Just the effects were, even now, because I watched it a couple of nights ago. Even now, the effects still look great and are unlike any I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it that. I'll be honest. When I rewatched this the other night, I was like, ugh, it was rough. It was rough going because it feels like an amateur film. It feels like a student film kind of thing.
Yeah.
But credit where credit's due. Like some of the gags in the film, it's this like Peter Jackson made this on a $3 million budget, which considering like where he came from with bad taste, he must have fucking thought all his Christmases had come with that amount of money. Do you know what I mean? And like I was like, where's the money gone?
Yeah, I can't imagine how $3 million got spent on this.
Yeah, because like the kind of like the production values on the film itself, they're not great, and like the all the technical stuff, like it's obviously been kind of redubbed, and that puts me off films when they've been redubbed, like obviously been redubbed. Do you know what I mean? It's always been something that's always pulled me out of a film and kind of like made it hard work for me to enjoy something, and. Like the sound effects and the music's really bad, but then once you get to like the halfway point where shit starts going south in the film, you're like, this is where the money went, because it's
effects.
Yeah, and
the buckets of gore as well, probably.
yeah, but it's just kind of like the kind of level of invention that's going on with all of the gags. Because you've probably seen like 1,000 people get kind of torn in half by zombies.
Yeah.
But there's a very sly kind of sense of humor as to how they do that same gag in this film. Do you know what I mean? And it's all very creative and kind of like inventive and stuff that you haven't seen before. Where you get faces or heads kind of like peeled off, and that still looks good now.
What's your favourite death in the film, like effect?
Probably that one, where the guy's face gets peeled
straight off. Yeah.
What about the father when he's doing his kung fu act kind of thing against them thugs at the cemetery there, and he does a flying Liu Kang ninja kick from Mortal Kombat and ends up killing himself on that.
The finger.
I kick off, good lord. Yeah,
I think that's the scene that everybody remembers most.
Yeah.
The kung fu priest.
It's a very weird film, but it's like I say, once it gets to like the halfway point and then everything starts going like sideways, you kind of like, right, that's where they spent all of the money, because there's just so many like deaths, and different kind of like inventive ways of maiming and killing and chopping up. And
that scene as well with the lawnmower, isn't there, when he goes outside and he comes back with the lawnmower upside down and he starts just bumping into all the like zombies kind of thing, chopping all up, and then there's a big pile of like legs and arms everywhere.
Because I'd read Peter Jackson decided to, because like in most zombie films, if you like destroy the brain or chop the head off, they die. But he said he wanted it to be in this one where that wouldn't work, so he could do better effects and better deaths, because if you chop the head off, the head still goes, or the body still goes, and you have to like there's a bit where the lungs and the spine. I mean, that's too far for me, but he's attacking him.
Yeah, he's obviously kind of like heavily influenced by The Thing in that respect, where it's kind of like you cut off a certain part of the thing or chop this off and it goes off on its own. So he's obviously taken that and just thought, well, we'll apply it to kind of like the creatures that we get in this as well, because it's. There's a lot of stuff going on in this film,
That's an understatement, that, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, you've got zombie porn.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
Jesus.
You've
got the nurse and the priest.
Yeah.
What about that part as well, though? When they're all having that, when they're having some eat at the table or something like that, and she can't eat it, the nurse. She ends up flipping her head back and just pours the custard down her.
Oh yeah.
Down through her neck. Oh, and then priest is snogging her face.
And did she bite his lips off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. There's just so much. There's so much going on in the film, and it's all kind of like inventive and creative, and like genuinely stuff that you've never seen. I mean, you've never seen like someone pull out the teeth of like a zombie with a pair of pliers before. Certainly not in any of the Romero zombie films.
Yeah.
No. You got a cavity there, mate. And just fucking ripping teeth out, and it's just.
I think my favourite one is where the woman screams and the zombie puts its arm through the back of her head and through her mouth.
Yeah.
Because that looks so good.
That was a good effect.
That was really good effect. Yeah, he cuts like just at the right point, so you can tell it's done me afterwards, but as he does it, it looks great.
There's even that part as well with the woman. There's what the zombie woman when she gets the light bulb and you see the light bulb around her face. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Lights her head up, yeah.
Yeah, lights her head up. Yeah, but that little baby as well. How annoying is that little baby when he's running around?
Yeah.
My favourite character.
I tell you what, you would not get a film. You wouldn't get away with that in a film today.
I don't know. 'Cause I read on I think it must have been the IMDb trivia that the BBFC, when they were doing the thing, they were going to give it a 15 because it was so comical and over the top. Nobody would ever really get scared or disgusted by it 'cause it was just so stupid.
Just the amount of blood was used or something.
He had to give it an 18 just because it was just so much, so full on that, people won't believe it as a 15. It just won't make sense.
Yeah. Well, I think, wasn't Bad Taste banned over here?
Oh, was it?
I think Bad Taste was banned over here for a period of time. And then I remember, because the first time I remember seeing Bad Taste, it was on that video movie drone thing on BBC Two late at night.
Oh, right.
And I think it was just after like the ban had been lifted.
From what I remember, it used to always be in a local video shop growing up. Bad Taste. I remember picking up thinking, what the hell is that? When I was
the cover stood out, didn't it, on Bad Taste?
Yeah, crazy. Well, there's a lot of horrors back in them days as well. When you was a young kid, you just pick them up and think, what the hell is that? And you know what I mean? And that was one of them for me. The Ghoulies as well. That one with the monster on the toilet there.
Yeah.
Thinking that was sort of crazy, but just drew you to it, didn't it? All them like crazy like front covers and you flip it over. It just kind of bad. Oh, when you're a young lad, that in them days, it just draw you to it and you pick it up and
horrors always had the best covers.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely Poltergeist as well. Another good one.
Yeah, Shocker was a good one.
Shocker, yeah. What was that?
Wes Craven's Shocker.
Yeah.
Scanners.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
The Scanners had two though. I remember seeing like one for Scanners with like an almost animated one, where he's like his eyes are white and I'm sure there's another one for Scanners that were really boring, but I can't think off the top of my head what it looked like.
Sure. Remember the gate as well? That used to be one what stood out to me as well. There's the eyes poking up from like the actual gate itself on the garden, and what was it? There was another one. Oh, Reanimator as well. That was another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy doctor on the front cover there.
Lee getting a Reanimator reference in there.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Mark it off on your bingo card.
Yeah. Imagine if we had a drinking game to go along with this podcast.
Oh, that's it now. You got to come up with one.
Next time you're on, Damian, we're doing it. We'll do it on a weekend and we'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Bad Taste. I've just Googled it now and it was refused classification. It was banned in New Zealand and then it was only released uncut in 2004, according to
really?
this. Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder how much they cut out of that film.
Probably a lot.
Yeah.
But that was only made on a budget of 25 grand. So,
oh Jesus!
That's going to be supposed to be a short one, like 15, 20-minute film or something. He ended up just putting it all together, and it ended up being an hour.
I think it took him a couple of years to actually finish that film because he was working a job, and he was just shooting it at the weekends when he had access to the stuff and his mates were available. So it was literally just kind of shot on weekends over the course of a few years.
Yeah.
And just kind of cobbled together. And it is a pretty rough film. Yeah. Well, I think he did a short film before that.
Yeah.
But that was his first proper film.
But he looks quite different in it. I don't know if you've noticed because he plays two characters in Bad Taste.
He does.
And you can tell he's putting a bit of weight on one of them because the one with the beard looks a little bit heftier than Derek.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming he shot one quite early on and then the other one later on.
Yeah. Because that's how he can kind of get away with being two characters in there because he does look completely different at one point. It's like, oh, right, okay. But he kind of graduated from Bad Taste onto Meet the Feebles, which I've never been able to sit through and watch from start to finish. Up until this day.
Adult puppet film, isn't it?
Yeah. It's all right. I'm not that fussed about Meet the Feebles. I think it's all right.
I've never been able to watch it through a full sitting. It's just something that really puts me off on that film, and it kind of crosses over into Brain Dead this time around. I kind of I struggle getting through this one as well, and it's all the kind of like I said, just kind of the production values on the film kind of put me. I'm not into kind of gonzo filmmaking. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just kind of like this is actually pretty ugly to sit through, and I only kind of like got through it because I fucking needed to, if I'm being honest.
Should have gone with Doc Hollywood.
Doc Hollywood, right? Or the hard way. No one seems to go with the hard way.
Hard way, yeah.
Who don't like James Woods? Come on,
yeah.
Brilliant.
But yeah, once all of the kind of like creature effects started coming through, I was like, right, okay. But like certain points of the story make zero fucking sense to me. I mean, can anyone explain to me why, when they're burying his mum, why we've got that scene with fucking Peter Jackson and in what looks like the mortician scene? I was like,
yeah,
what's going on here?
Yeah.
Why have they got her out of the coffin and doing what looks like crazy experiments on her?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know if that was just an extra scene to be a bit. Wasn't that? That's not where he got the serum from, was it? Is that where he got the knockout serum? The injection,
the tranquilizer stuff.
Yeah, is that where he got that from? Is that the only reason that scene was in?
I think
that's where because he used that a little bit, like throughout up until it all kicked off. So maybe that was it, so he could get the tranquilizer serum.
It just didn't make any sense. I was like, hang on, have I missed something here?
Is that where they were all waiting in church though? And he's like, yeah, wait in a minute kind of thing, and they've not even finished yet. The experiments kind of thing on her.
I think that was like their homage to like Reanimator, the way that they shot it and had them like in lab coats as if like the mortician type thing. So and I was just kind of like, I don't understand where this goes in the bigger story side of the film. I didn't get it. But there's a lot about this film that I don't kind of like get on a story point of view. It's like another film that kind of stood out to me is when we're coming to the end of the film and they're up on the roof and like his mother is like that huge belly monster. Yeah, with those swinging hangers. Fucking.
Yeah, look at Lionel.
Yeah. It's like, why is she kind of like sentient now? Why is she having a conversation?
Yeah, her voice was normal. She wasn't a zombie anymore. Yeah.
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 So I was like, oh right, okay. So I just didn't get it. I didn't get it.
I don't think it's one of those films that
you're not supposed to get, are you? Just go with it.
yeah. I don't think I don't think he sat down and plotted it out. And
no.
Yeah. Well, he probably did, but it took him 5 minutes, and then he's like, "Let's just throw." It
was interesting to watch from purely a kind of like a standpoint of seeing him grow as a filmmaker, because like from this he went on to Heavenly Creatures, and like that's a massive kind of like change in direction for him, and the leaps and bounds that he took, as a filmmaker from Bad Taste to Meet the Feebles, and then onto this, and then onto Heavenly Creatures, and then The Frighteners, and then eventually The Lord of the Rings. It's kind of like a rapid improvement in skills and technical ability, and how he's able to actually,
I mean, I don't know, because he started Weta, didn't he? Didn't he start Weta from all of this? The special effects. Was that growing quite big, and that's why he got Lord of the Rings? I mean, I've never really followed. I know Weta got quite big as an effects house, so was it more that grew, and then as he's a director, he could sort of use that as well as his direction skills, if that makes sense?
Possibly. The Weta Workshop was set up for, essentially, Weta Workshop is what started with Bad Taste. Because they did all of the special effects themselves for Bad Taste, and then made all of the puppets themselves for Meet the Feebles, and then they did all of the zombie gags in this, and eventually it kind of like morphed into a digital effects house for The Fright. Well, they actually did some CGI effects in Heavenly Creatures, like with the morphing backgrounds and stuff like that, and then they expanded and got a load of computers for the digital effects in The Frighteners, and then it just kind of like slowly but surely became what it is today, making practical effects, and then obviously the CG side of stuff that was integrated into it as well.
Yeah.
But it was, it's all him, like between his production company, which is I think Wingnut. Is it Wing? Yeah, it's Wingnut,
Yeah,
isn't it?
Wingnut, yeah.
Yeah, Wingnut and Weta was just like the effects side of stuff that
Okay,
they would do.
so that grew quite big, did Wetter, I think, didn't it? Is it now one of the
Yeah.
biggest, probably?
I would say behind, because like back in the day, it was obviously ILM
Yeah.
were the biggest, and then for a period of time, James Cameron's effects house, Digital Domain, they got a lot of work off the back of like Terminator, The Abyss and
Yeah.
Terminator, doing all the CG stuff, and then that went away, and then obviously, it's kind of like been replaced by Weta. And it all comes from like these films.
Yeah.
This is where it all kind of like grew out of, which is remarkable when you think about it, because he was literally just making. It all started from making a really schlocky kind of like alien invasion flick on $25,000, shooting it over 4 years at the weekends, and then all of a sudden it's probably the biggest, production or special effects production house, and
But if you want, like Bad Taste just seems to have better production than Brain Dead for me. Just the locations, the acting in it just seems a bit better. So
yeah.
Weird Al to spend what we said 25k on that.
Yeah, 3 million on Brain
mil.
Dead.
Yeah.
Big jump.
It is a big jump, but like I say, I think just purely from the amount of kind of like different things that they do in this film, that's probably where that money was all spent, because it certainly wasn't spent on the ADR. It certainly wasn't spent on the money. I don't think it was spent on the film stock, because the film looks absolutely horrendous.
He's cleaning them up. Apparently at the moment, and he's trying to clean them all up to get them on HD and re-release them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's announced his. I know he's doing Bad Taste, Feebles, and Brain Dead. Whether he's going to do the other ones, but he said he's already like upscaled the print and they look really good. And I'm a bit like, really? He's saying.
Is this onto Blu-ray, Damian, or is it 4K?
I don't know if it'll be Blu-ray or 4K. I can't imagine it'll be 4K.
I've just googled it now, and it says Peter Jackson's Brain Dead and Bad Taste getting 4K remasters.
Oh, it's 4K! Wow.
4K, jeez.
So, I can't imagine how this will look in 4K.
Yeah.
He says he said it looks all right. He said he's already seen proofs of it and it looks all right, but I don't.
But he is also the person who said that 48 frames per second looks really good in the cinema.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if you ever watched any of the Hobbit films in HFR, but it was fucking horrible.
Yeah, I watched the first one, and
it was horrible. It was it knocked me sick at certain points. I was like, this isn't a natural way to actually watch a film. So I actually got dizzy watching that, and I was like, nah, can't do that again. Anyway. So Peter Jackson then. I did have a point then. I completely forgot.
I do like how he cameos in all his films. I do like that.
I like that as well. Yeah,
I like a little cameo, and he doesn't. I mean, in this one, is like you say, his cameos. The scene's a bit odd, but yeah, he's normally his cameo. It's a little bit like of a silly cameo. Like in Lord of the Rings, I think in the first one is a drunken guard in the first one, and then
he's the guy chomping on a carrot when they get to Bree.
Yeah, you see him briefly, don't you? Briefly, and then the frighteners is that tattooed, pierced guy on the street who bumps into Michael J. Fox. He's got the Grim Reaper t-shirt on.
Yeah. So yeah, his cameos are all quite decent, and he's even in Hot Fuzz, isn't he? I know you guys will probably cover around the Hot Fuzz episode. So
yeah, is he in King Kong as well? Has he got a cameo in that?
He must have.
He must have somehow.
Unless he got cut.
Well, the Sumerian rat monkey is definitely in King Kong.
Yeah.
So essentially, this is the prequel to King Kong, if you want to look at it from that point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should have sown some seeds in there.
Yeah. I think that was always where it was going to go because like he even calls like the island at the beginning of this film Skull Island, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's one thing. Like for all his criticisms now, as a filmmaker who's kind of lost his way, um, and I do believe that. I think he peaked. He definitely peaked with the Lord of the Rings and hasn't really done much since.
Yeah,
Because
100%.
I wasn't really a fan of the Lovely Bones, and that's not because of kind of like the subject matter or anything like that. I just didn't think it was a very well put together film, and the Hobbit films weren't great
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
my point of view. King Kong was okay, but I think he suffered from Quentin Tarantino syndrome with that one, where it's obviously a labour of love, and he's just going to put everything in there that pleases him, to the detriment of the overall film. Someone really needed to rein him back on King Kong a little bit there, I think. Especially with
What
all
was,
the dinosaur scenes and like running on treadmills away from a fucking green screen and all that kind of stuff. It's just
Yeah, it got a bit fantastical, didn't it? Some of
yeah.
that.
What was that one you watched as well, Mike, a few months ago at the cinema? It was like cities or something moving on wheels. They had something to do with that, didn't it?
he was just a producer, that Mortal Engines.
That's it, yeah, Mortal Engines. Oh,
Fuck garbage, mate. Yeah.
yeah, I do remember you saying it was terrible.
Trailer
Yeah.
looked terrible for that.
Yeah.
So
It was,
what's he doing now then, Jackson? Do we know what's his next project? Has he got anything lined up?
He was trying to get Halo off the ground for like quite a few years, and he never got anywhere with that, did he? He was
yeah, a
really,
few people had taken a crack at Halo,
Yeah.
and it never really materialized. I think he realized that wasn't going to happen, and then he kind of like switched tack over to didn't he do the Tintin flick instead?
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah. Want Spielberg to do with that as well, though.
Yeah.
Spielberg produced that or did something to do with that.
I thought that was
Actually,
supposed to be a trilogy though.
No, was
They
it?
did the
I
one
only saw the first
I,
one.
well, yeah, I thought it was supposed to be a trilogy, but then they did the one. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
the first one was it
I
Lost
think
Unicorn or something?
I think the plan for Tintin was for like Spielberg to direct one and Jackson to direct another.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah. Hang
Well,
on.
yeah. Oh, Spielberg directed Tintin. Yeah, Jackson produced it.
Yeah, but Peter Jackson was supposed to do.
They were gonna flip it for the next one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it just never materialised, did it?
Well, it just wasn't really all that.
I didn't mind. I thought I enjoyed it. But yeah, like I say, it wasn't with digital animation now. There is a lot of, there's a lot of bad digital animation out there. A lot of really terrible stuff, but there's quite a few that are good. Like is it Miller, the Lego guys? They do
Lord and Miller.
and Miller. Yeah, they're good. And then obviously Pixar are pretty consistent. They do have a few duds, but by and large, they tend to make pretty entertaining films.
I don't think Tintin was the right move because I think Tintin doesn't really have much of a audience. I might be wrong there, but I don't think a lot of people turned out to go and watch fucking Tintin because it's a property that's too old and been out of the limelight for too long, and it just seemed like a really weird choice. What's that?
Yeah. Was it from the 60s or 70s, the original cartoon?
I remember when I was little. I mean, I'm not that old, but when I was
how old are you?
I'm 41, 42 this year, so 41.
Right. So okay, so there's a couple of years between me and you then. So because I think I know where you're going with this with the Channel 4 animated cartoon.
I do remember the animated cartoon when I was like young, but originally I don't know. I assume the comics were much older than that, like the original ones.
Yeah, I could Google it, I suppose. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
1929. There you go. 1929.
Oh, Jesus. Well, before what I said then.
Yeah.
But they ran through all the way through to the 70s, so.
Oh, right.
So it's certainly an old character. But from what I'm looking at here, Tintin and the Alpha was an unfinished
a bit like
24th and final volume of The Adventures of Tintin. That's 1986. So from 1986 up until when they released the film, excuse me, in 2011. That's a long time for a franchise or a property to be kind of dormant. Do you know what I mean?
And
Yeah,
anything
very
like
much
that, it needs to be. Tintin's not like I watched it when I was a kid, but I'm not like massively nostalgic about it.
Yeah, I remember it from being a kid, but
Yeah.
it's not
So
something that I would run out and
I'm not going
see.
to drag my daughter to the cinema going, oh, you got to watch this because when I was a kid, it was the best thing ever. It
Yeah,
was all right.
yeah,
maybe
exactly.
what they should have done to bridge the gap is maybe done a TV series or something first, and then went on to the big blockbuster movie.
Yeah.
I just don't think it needed to be a big blockbuster movie, though, and I certainly don't think it needed to be a 3D CG animation thing. They could have got away with just doing a 2D cartoon.
I wonder how much it cost that as well. It must have cost a good few mil.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah,
100 mil or something.
135 it cost.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
132 more million than Braindead.
135 mil, and according to this, it brought back in 374 million. So yeah, it's doubled its budget.
Oh, wow.
But
That's surprising.
yeah, but I mean, when you take into account that, like, you know, whenever you're looking at a budget, it doesn't really necessarily reflect the actual total that's spent.
No, they don't include stuff like marketing a lot of the time, do
No,
they?
exactly, yeah.
And it's
So
like
they always say double
Yeah.
the budget for the marketing, and then you get an actual accurate number.
But then there's the other thing is that they don't include stuff like product placement. Like when you watch films like the MCU's full of product placement, that's never cut. They don't. It's only box office taken, so it's like they make more money on the film than just box office.
Yeah.
So I do always wonder what the figures are all quietly massaged and stuff like that. You never really know what anything.
Well, that's Hollywood accounting for you, because obviously it doesn't take into account things like the merchandise as well, and obviously Tintin is, considering, like I said, I've been saying, it is an older kind of franchise and an older property. It's still obviously merchandisable because it's a cartoon, so you can have little action figures or little kind of like toy figures. You can re-release the books. You can have little kids' lunch boxes and backpacks with it Tintin on it, and
throw them into McDonald's.
All that kind of shit as
stuff,
well. Yeah. But still,
what was the budget for Braindead was 3 million. So what was the takings overall makings on that film?
For Braindead, it was a massive bomb, mate. I think it only took in like $250,000, if that.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So,
but he's probably made that back, any, do you think, now, maybe on home release and stuff like that through the years, because he seems to have kind of got a bit of a cult following this film.
I think it must have made its money back by now, just because of Peter Jackson obviously became a household name with the Lord of the Rings film, so people would have gone back and
picked it up,
gone back to his back catalogue and picked up the DVD and all that kind of stuff. But I'll be honest, I've never seen the DVD on full price sale. I've always seen it in like one of those bargain bin kind of like pickups kind of thing. It's always been like $2.99, and I don't think it's had actual proper release.
Well, so when we're obviously going to talk about it, I thought I'll watch it. So I got my DVD, and it's a limited edition DVD. I got so I went and put it in the Xbox. Cannot read disc. I'm like, oh, are you kidding me?
Was it Region 1?
Region 1?
Yeah, Region 1. Yeah, because when I used to buy DVDs, like now I'll get them as presents. I don't really buy them anymore. But I used to, when I was seriously into like buying and collecting DVDs, I used to go on a website called dvdcompare.org.
I did as well. Yeah.
And it'd tell you like the best, all different bits in it, and the best quality of blah blah blah. So I'd go on there, find the one I wanted, then I'd go on dvdpricecheck.co.uk, and they'd tell me where I could buy that DVD. But some you couldn't even get in the UK. So obviously I must have bought this from wherever, maybe having it shipped over. So it's a Region 1, so I can't bloody play it.
I've just had a quick Google now to see like if there was a special edition or whatever. And,
I've got the Region 2 DVD myself.
Is there any extras on that?
No, it's just the film itself, and then you've got chapter menus. That's it.
Well, I've just found like an eBay listing for Braindead, the Extreme Horror Collection. I don't know what makes it a collection, because it's just
can't go see now because I'm plugged in.
Is it one disc?
But it doesn't say, but it's obviously a German release because it's like Ein Film von Peter Jackson.
This is called Dead Alive. Mine. It doesn't say Brain Dead. It says Dead Alive on the cover.
Yeah, it was released as Dead Alive in America.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. My bad taste is a limited edition, and it's got the covers like do you know that effect that you used to get on some horror films where if you turn the cover, like it changes the image? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like the lenticular things.
Yeah. So it's got one of those where it's the alien with he's got two fingers up on one. If you twist it, he's got one finger up. So,
right, okay.
So, yeah. That's the kind of stuff I used to have on VHS. I think it was Volcano. I think I mentioned it on maybe the first episode or second episode of the cover.
Right.
And then I had it on VHS, Volcano on the front cover. You turn it a little bit, and it was a volcano erupted on the other, and then you turn it slightly the other way, and then volcano not erupted. And I think I had it on Independence Day as well. I think that was the same with the White House on the front cover. It had blown up on one shot, and then it switched a little bit, and it was just the White House. So yeah, it was just something I think just adds that little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Bit to it, yeah. When you sit there on the shelf, kind of thing. But is that the region 1? That bad taste?
I'm trying to look now where it says what region it is, because that's the problem. I don't have a region 1 player anymore. I used to have one, and I got rid of it because it just gathered dust.
I think it's just a little box on the DVD on the back cover, and it'll have a 1 or a 2 in it.
Yeah, no, but I can't see anything on that because some of them are region 3 that I've got.
Right, okay.
You remember, you used to get region 3 every now and again.
Yeah.
It says not rated on there, but it doesn't say anything to do with the region. But this has got it's number 24,062 of 50,000.
Well, I don't think it'll be a region 2 because we don't release films over here that aren't rated.
Unrated, yeah.
Yeah, they always have to have a certificate from BBFC, so there's a good chance that might be a region 1.
Yeah, or could it be multi-regional? Have you definitely tried it and it won't work?
I haven't tried the bad taste one. As I say, I tried the Brain Dead one, and that definitely didn't work. But this one, no, I don't know. It doesn't say anywhere on there, so I'm guessing it's either region 3 or region.
Yeah.
We'll find
out. Because I've got Reanimator twice. I've got the region 2 copy of Reanimator, like a collection edition set, and you got like a Reanimator pen with it. I don't know why it was a pen, because you never, don't think you see a pen in the whole film except for like writing there. But this has got Reanimator on the pen. And then I've got the same again, but it's a multi-regional disc as well. So it's just a film uncut as well. Because when I think it got first released over here, I think it was heavily cut.
Yeah, but I found Brain Dead on YouTube. The full thing on YouTube.
Yeah, that's how I ended up watching it, because I couldn't find a copy online. I checked on Netflix because I've just actually found a new VPN, so I can actually watch Netflix from around the world again.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's not on Amazon Prime, so I was like, I'm gonna have to try and buy a copy, and I didn't have time to have it delivered because the only place I could find was CEX in Chorley, I think was the closest. Didn't have a chance to get over there, so
I could have got you that, Mike.
You probably, but I didn't have time to come and get it off you, mate. That's the other problem. So
right.
Yeah, it's one of them. So I thought, fuck it, I'll just put it on YouTube and see if I can watch it in. Because 9 times out of 10, like older films like this will be clipped up on YouTube, so it'll be like 1 of 5, 2 of 5. 3 of 5, and it'll be like 20-minute chunk of the film kind of thing. But the whole fucking film is on YouTube. How it's not taken down, I don't know. And it's actually, not a bad copy of the film. It's not.
Well, there's no advertisements, is there, in between?
No, there's no adverts, and the picture quality is not bad considering, what we've already spoken about with the look of the film. So it's actually quite a watchable, version of the film online.
And I think I found I'm sure there's a Spanish version and another language version on there as well, maybe French in full. Yeah.
Oh, did you watch it, Damian?
No. Might learn a bit of Spanish.
A different take on it. But I did the same as Mike. I started watching, because I've got the DVD of Brain Dead, so I started watching that on Tuesday night, and then I nodded off. I think I watched about half an hour until about midnight, and then nodded off, and then on Wednesday, my day off yesterday, I thought, right, okay, so I went off to the gym and came back, and I thought, well, I'm going to have to get it watched anywhere, and I thought, I can't be bothered going upstairs, getting the DVD player out, and DVD out of the machine and putting it in downstairs and stuff. I just couldn't be arsed, so I thought, I'll watch it on Showbox, and I found it on Showbox there, but I was saying to Mike before we started recording, it was out of sync, so when they were talking, the the voice weren't going with the mouth and stuff. So
Right.
I just thought, well, I'll try YouTube. And it must be on
Yeah.
YouTube. And then the whole film was on there, 1 hour and
Yeah.
37
I found
minutes.
a torrent where they said the same thing, that it was out of sync. So I didn't
Yeah.
bother downloading it.
I didn't
So I
notice for the first 2 minutes of the film, and then I thought, hang about. So I just thought, right, straight to YouTube. And then it's funny though, when I told Mike about it, Mike said, I did exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm checking my YouTube feed now, and the one that I watched the other night is CJ Asanchi1 on YouTube has put it up there, and it's got 425,000 views. And then the one that because I was just flicking through today, I found another version of the film on a guy called Teddy Rowland's channel, and that one's got 9,000 views. So
up your game, Teddy Rowland. Come on,
Teddy Rowland, yeah, you need to up your game. But I mean, if off that first video, 425,000 people have viewed that video. I mean, if every one of them had just paid $1 to actually watch the film, then that would have doubled how much the fucking film made when it was originally released. So there's obviously
they've not reported it. I wouldn't, like you say, there's no adverts, so maybe they're like, well, he's not monetizing it. Let's just leave it.
Maybe it's Peter Jackson himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's an older film, isn't it? So I think no one's actively looking for that kind of that thing. Maybe these will obviously get taken down when the 4K remasters come out, but there's obviously a following for it, because like almost 500,000 people have fucking watched it just on one guy's channel.
Yeah.
So I know there's a lot of love for it, but I just really struggle getting through the fucking film just because of how kind of like amateurish it is. But that's not taking anything away from the special effects of the film, because they are still like really, really well done. Really well done. Considering it's just guys with fucking, bits of twigs and sticks and fucking gluing little bits together and making all this shit themselves.
Go on, Mike, sorry. I was going to say that when I was watching the film as well the other day, I was thinking to myself, if this film came out now, though, you wouldn't get these practical effects. It'd be all CGI'd. And like the Thing remake, what we've mentioned many times, I think we mention that in every episode, that the CGI and how bad that film was. So if they remade Brain Dead now and use some CGIs, it wouldn't have the same charm, I think, because there's certain charms to this film. And it is the practical effects, I think, what has stood the test of time. Not so much the acting or the actresses or anything like that. I think it's the practical effects.
Yeah, well, I think that's what kind of like draws people who are fans of like the horror genre to like films like this. It's the quality of the special effects at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're a horror fan, you appreciate practical effects. You appreciate like the nuts and bolts of actually making these kind of like puppets and models from scratch, and that's half of the kind of like at least for me anyway. When I'm watching a horror film, I like, because like when I was younger, that was what got me interested in film. It's like, how did they do that? And I actually wanted to actually get into that field and do makeup effects and all that kind of stuff. And I would sit and do little sketches of like appliances and stuff like that when I was younger. When I was in high school, I would in art class we'd get the modeling clay out, and I'd make little disembodied hands and with bones jutting out and all this kind of shit, because that's what I was interested in at the time. Obviously that's not fucking panned out, but that's what interested me in these kind of films in the first place. And to see a film where it just like goes all out with that kind of shit, and I mean everyone makes a big deal about the lawnmower scene, and it's like that's not the most interesting scene to me. It's not. It's certainly the most bloody. That's the kind of like bit that everyone kind of references when you think about this film. It's like, oh, he comes in the lawnmower and just like all the blood and all. That's not.
No, I think the sequence before that, when there's just so many weird deaths happening, like the arm through the mouth, the head in the blender, the
baby pulling
bit,
and doing the kind of like the here's Johnny through her fucking face, and
the guy's body splitting in half after going through the door. Like, before that, I think there's a lot better. Oh, that's my favourite bit, is all that when they're all dying from the pie of all different weird ways. That's my favourite of the film.
What's the
just
part as well with his uncle as well when his mum picks him up near the end and rips his spine out as well, Predator-esque.
Oh God, yeah.
Well, there's the other one that I quite like is when that guy's kind of like had his head chopped off like from the above the jaw, and his head's on the floor, and they just kick him around.
Yeah.
The
That looks
camera
really
kind
good.
of
'Cause his eyes are moving out there and stuff.
yeah, and the camera kind of follows him. And it's just
Yeah.
like they're kicking him around as a football, but as they kick him, the camera kind of slides along the floor with the head as well. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's actually quite an inventive little shot. That. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to enjoy, from that kind of perspective. But
Like I said, like with horror
I mean,
films,
there's a few
not
scenes as
many-
well.
Sorry, go on.
Go on, Damian. I was going to say there's a few scenes as well made me go, ugh, especially the part where they're eating the custard near the start of the film, and her ear drops off into the custard, and then she ends up squirting a bit of blood.
Some stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and he's eating it that sharp
But
there.
and his wife just sit there while he does it, and I'm like, say something.
say something, yeah.
Please. Oh,
Yeah, but when she runs off later on, I think it's the next scene, the bottom of the stairs, and he's cleaning up some like, is it like was she shit herself and the shit footprints everywhere? Am I getting wrong? When she's run off, she shit herself.
Is it shit? I don't know. There was footprints.
I know. Yeah, there were footprints on the. I thought there were shitty footprints. She shit herself going to the toilet. I might be wrong.
It could be though, because they've been eating zombified custard. So.
Yeah, just.
Yeah. That scene never kind of like disgusted me, as in like ugh, kind of thing. Oh, that's horrible. But I hate the sound of like smacking lips. Even like one of my biggest bugbears is like people who masticate loud, and smack the lips. It drives me insane. I just want to punch them through the fucking back of the head and have my fist come out of their mouth. So like when he's like shoveling that fucking custard into his mouth, like the sound the kind of like the spoon kind of like knocking on his teeth as he puts it in his mouth and he's slurping it, all that kind of shit. I was like, no, I can't deal with that fucking scene. It just
so me and Damian are worried about like him eating the blood and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just like just fucking chew with your mouth shut, you fucking I'm just trying to wind it back now and see if there's actually shit on the floor.
I've always had a bit of a soft spot though for like New Zealand and Australian films. It's always been so like weird and wonderful. Like you don't get those films from anywhere else. Just like they wouldn't work if we were done anywhere else.
Yeah, there's a very distinct kind of flavour to those films, isn't there? That you don't seem to get anywhere else. And
like I've watched like a film called Bad Boy Bubby. I think that's Australian maybe. And Once Were Warriors and Muriel.
Once Were Warriors is an awesome film. Tamora Morris.
Yeah. And
I remember watching like BMX Bandits as well. That's an Australian film.
Yeah. If it would have done in America, it just wouldn't have been. I don't know. It would have been Americanized, and it would have been Mac and Me or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we kind of like share quite a bit of like Australian and New Zealanders have kind of like a similar sense of humor to like the British.
So
I think it translates quite well. It all seems very familiar.
There's a lot of like in Peter Jackson's like Brain Dead and Bad Taste. There's a lot of to me it seems like Python-esque sort of stuff in there. You could imagine it being the Monty Python guys being in there, and I'm sure I remember reading an interview with him where he said I think Peter Jackson said something along the lines of Monty Python made chopping a knight's legs off and arms and legs off funny. Like that was only they could have done that. And that's what sort of he goes for, that sort of comedy.
I'm not ignoring you. I'm just rewatching the scene where Lee says she runs off. And...
Yeah, she runs out of the room, doesn't she? And then I'm sure it's the next clip or something where he's at the bottom of the stairs cleaning some shitty footprints.
It might be. Yeah, I remember what you mean.
No, there's too many footsteps for that to be her, mate. I think it's
Is it his mum?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like goop. That's because she's decomposing. So I think it's meant to be.
Right.
Be that kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you want to
He's a-
take
he's-
it that way, then that's up to you.
That's the way I
mate.
took it, because you don't really see, you don't even know it's his mum or anything. So that's the way I took it. I just thought, oh, I'll mention that on the podcast anyway. But he's the guy. He's a proper mummy's boy, isn't he, Lionel?
Yeah, there's something quite uncomfortable about their relationship in this film, isn't there?
Yeah, very much so. Especially that part where he's, when we were touching on it before about when there's like the scientist, when you think like, is it a bit of a reanimator throwback in it in the scene when they're in the morgue or whatever,
Yeah.
and he ends up falling through the window, and then he just hugs her on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's an accident, because you've obviously got the scene at the climax of the film where like she devours him back into a womb.
Yeah.
And obviously he's kind of like reborn after that by like cutting his way through and all that kind of stuff. So there is, a little bit of a deeper kind of thematic element going on there about, a repressed child breaking free of the overbearing mother and all that kind of stuff. But it's certainly quite half baked and just kind of like, I think it's just put in there for effect. Because it's, when that stomach opens up, like, something out of the thing and just swallows him back up, that's quite, well, no, it's not
It's not
actually,
so-
no,
it's
because
not
I
such a
can't get
lab,
away
is
from
it?
those big fucking swinging tits. I can't, no. They're very off-putting.
That's where the rest of the money went on the film. Was on swinging tits.
Yeah.
I
those
bet
big
Peter
fucking-
Jackson still got them somewhere.
I bet, yeah. I bet he's got that whole
Every
book.
night. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if he feels on tits.
Ew. It's
But
quite
what do you think
interesting
about the love interest in the film as well? Because she's
Paquita.
awful, Lionel.
Paquita.
Yeah, Nikita. Yeah.
Uh,
She's definitely got a thing for him, because he walks into the shop and he's like, oh, just like kind of like having a browse at the stuff that she's selling in the
Yeah.
shop and the groceries, and next thing you know, it's kind of like, oh, I know.
Isn't that because of the tarot reading or something to do?
yeah, I was going
before
to
it?
say, isn't it, I don't know if she's actually attracted to him or if she's just kind of like infatuated because she thinks
Cards. Yeah.
like because she thinks he's going to be her savior kind of thing because of the reading in the tarot
Yeah,
cards.
if you're told you'll you'll fall in love with X person who looks like this, and
Yeah.
she meets him, it's just I think it's just forced. It's
Because
forced.
it was that other, was it
into
the other guy that started the film as well? Was it the milkman or something? Like the greengrocer, when he comes in and he's like, "Oh, hey, I love you, all right," and she's kind of like takes the top off, and takes like a jacket off, and she's just got like a summer dress on there, and didn't it wear like a bra strap falls down or something, and or whatever, and a strap falls down, you can see a bra strap there, and is that the one I'm thinking of?
Yeah, I think she.
Oh, is that Lionel himself?
No, that's that greengrocer. She's flirting with the greengrocer guy, and then I think he leaves and Lionel comes in, and then she's just really cold with Lionel until he knocks over the
the licorice
and stuff and licorice,
The
yeah.
licorice, yeah.
And she pulls his hands away, and it's that symbol that were on the
Yeah.
tarot card. And I think from then on, she's in love with Lionel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They go to the zoo and
They have just like the worst dates ever, but she still, for some reason, is in love with him.
Yeah, and that's another thing as well. His mum follows him to the zoo for keep her eye on him.
Yeah.
She's had him in that bush there, and that's where she gets scratched by that monkey rat.
Yeah, and the zookeeper's like, yes, they say that all the rats came off the ships and shagged over little monkeys.
Yeah, raped
raped over little monkeys. I'm proper excited when he's telling
you little bastard.
Oh.
Yeah, good.
And yeah, she just crushes its head.
yeah.
Just stands on its head.
So have we got any favourite scenes in the film then, guys?
Go on, Damian, take it away.
Like I said, just a sequence of like when obviously they're having the big party and then all the zombies burst in, and then it's just ridiculously overly constructed zombie death after zombie death, and there's the head through the light bulb, body in half, arm through the mouth,
the baby as well.
Yeah, the baby through the head. I don't know what that sequence is. Maybe 10 minutes. Might be a bit longer with it, but it's just never.
It does go on for a bit.
Yeah, and it's just like you think you've seen like worst one, and then they do another one. You're like, how are they doing this stuff? It's just, how do you even think of it? You know, like Giorgio Romero could not have thought of half of that stuff because it's just, yeah, from a different mind. But
In
yeah, I think
the Dawn of the Dead, like nod as well in the film where somebody gets like the stomach ripped open, like on Day of the Dead. Oh no, Dawn of the Dead, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think it's a zombie film without having like someone have his stomach kind of like ripped open.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I'm sure we've missed like a lot of the key ones. Is there not a bit where the
the part where he goes to the park as well, isn't there, with the pram, with the baby in the pram?
Oh God, yeah. That's pretty good. That. With the two old women watching. Anyway, I'll let you.
Yeah, I read something online about that was filmed later on, wasn't it?
Was it?
They wrapped up shooting, and then he felt like he added that part on Peter Jackson, and something he thought that was that's Peter Jackson's favourite part of the whole film, that part with the pram.
All right, because don't he say something like sugar or something at the end, like hyperactive or something weird to the women?
Yeah,
some little comment like that. It's hyperactive, and that's it.
Yeah. It's kind of wrestling the baby, and they're chucking it around
and stuff. In the face, like, and he smashes it with a swing and everything.
Yeah. But there's parts in that as well, I think, in the park, and then later on in the film where you see the baby crawling. Next thing you know, you see it running, but obviously you can tell it's somebody's about 3 foot tall running. It's not a baby.
Yeah. Weta wasn't obviously on the game, that one.
Yeah.
Well, I did find interesting when all the zombies are around the table and like he's feeding them all. They all kind of like revert into this childish state, as if they're all like toddlers.
Yeah.
And I was like,
because who's there then? So you got the nurse there, haven't you, with the head like keeps falling backwards, and you've got the father's there. You got the gangster guy from the cemetery who had a bit of a do with the father when he got his and who was the other one? Who was that? Oh, was his mum, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was it, wasn't it? Yeah. Just having four with it, and then Lionel himself trying to feed him and stuff. Oh, there's that part as well, don't there? When his uncle walks in and he's like, and obviously they're having something to eat, kind of thing. And then he locks the door and he's like, "What you got going on in there? You find your dad's old
stag film,
porn stash, yeah." And he's like, "Oh."
When he said stag films, I'm like, "Oh my God, they used to call them stag films."
Yeah, stag films. Yeah, let me go on have a look. Oh.
Yeah, that was good. And he said, what did he say? Have you found the one with the nurse and the
donkey or something?
Donkey, yeah, that's it. Yeah. And the donkey, and you're like, oh my God.
I don't want to know.
The real piece of work is Uncle Innie in this. Oh God.
Yeah, and he walks, and then when he buggers off and Lionel goes in the room, it's that father and that nurse snogging, but as Mike mentioned before, she bites his face off, or his lips off.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and that was it as well. Call back to episode 2, the Frighteners episode. The father was in the Frighteners. He was the guy in the museum, yeah. Mentioned that on the Frighteners episode, so you probably might have missed that, Damian. But I did check that. Anyway, I was 99% sure, but I looked it up after watching the film yesterday, and then I thought, it's I'm right, got it spot on.
Cool.
He had a little scene in the Frighteners. He was watching the museum, and I think he just came in and he was like, put your guns down to the police who was in at the time, so they didn't shoot Michael J. Fox's character, Bannister. And,
right. Did he look similar in the Frighteners, or because I can't tell if he's wearing a wig in this or not?
No, I think he had if I remember right, he was dressed pretty smart with a suit on. And I can't remember. I think in Braindead, it is pretty much white.
Yeah, it's like really light grey. I
think in the Fridays, I think it's a bit more grey, a bit darker. I think.
Okay.
But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, have you got any favourite scenes, Mike, yourself?
No, not really, mate. It's just I like. There's not really any scenes that I like, but I do like kind of like all of the effects and all of the kind of like zombie gags and stuff like that. That's where I enjoyed the film, like seeing all of that kind of stuff. And like I say, my favourite one was where they peel the skin off the guy's head and all that kind of stuff. So just lots of kind of like creative kind of like ways to maim and decapitate zombies that we hadn't seen before up until that point. Like I mentioned, Peter Jackson has got kind of like a puerile sense of humor, and he is a fan of cinema, so he kind of like takes everything that he's a fan of, with the King Kong references and the Romero, zombie films and stuff like that, and he's put his own spin on it,
Yeah.
and, there's definitely his kind of like sense of humor, his kind of wry sense of humor going through all of the zombie bits in this. So
yeah. I just remember the scene as well we've not touched on, the part where his mum was just kind of like been started kind of turning and stuff, and then they go up to her bedroom and she's eating the dog.
Oh,
and they pull the dog out of her mouth.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, oh, she's eating my dog. Well, not all of it.
Not all of it.
Yeah, and it's like when she's doing her makeup just before that or something, when she's like, oh, is it the Mattisons are here or something?
Yeah.
Really, I'll stall them kind of thing. And she went, no, I'll come down and see him. And then she starts putting the makeup on, and a bit of skin falls off her cheek, and he kind of glued it back on.
Oh, yeah, that's just before the dinner scene, isn't it?
That's it, yeah, just before the custard and stuff, yeah. Yeah, it's disgusting.
So come on, Lee, you're normally the guy to go to for a little bit of trivia.
There's that one about the Frighteners, the fair who was in the Frighteners, but I've looked up the other actors and actresses in it, and they've all just gone like, according to Internet Movie Database, and they've only done like TV series and pretty much like B movies, nothing pretty much known. So there's not much trivia I can give on this one.
Well, I know that the guy who played Void in this is a guy called Jed Brophy, who Peter Jackson put in all of the Lord of the Rings films.
Yeah.
Usually under loads and loads of makeup as like an orc or a goblin or something like that. He showed up in every one of the Lord of the Rings films, I think.
Yeah. Wasn't Lionel's mum in Lord of the Rings as well? I think it was in Fellowship.
I think she was only in the extended version. She was she was the one of the Sackville Bagginses who's mithering Bilbo.
Do you recognise her from Brain Dead in Lord of the Rings? Or
no, if I didn't Google it, then I wouldn't have known. So, but yeah, Jed Brophy I recognise because he's actually in the documentaries on the Lord of the Rings DVDs. So I recognised him when he showed up as Void in this, the slick-haired. What's his face? Yeah, the greaser guy.
Greaser, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Wonder why he set it in the 50s.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know why he picked that time out.
Is it just because it doesn't? Even though it looks like it's set in the 50s, it doesn't feel like it's set in the 50s.
I
think
didn't
he just
get the
likes
impression
the aesthetic of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because you got the greaser. His uncle's like a bit of a teddy boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't. I don't know. But it's hard to tell with the town. I suppose the cars sort of looked old.
Well, he's got that kind of like old red Jag, like the. It's not like an E-type, is it? But it looks like that kind of car, doesn't it? And you've got the trams and stuff like going through the town, and I don't know. It's kind of like I think he likes the aesthetic because.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Is it meant to be set in? It's a good question, that. Maybe I should have paid more attention.
It looked 50s with just the
costumes and the hair.
Yeah.
Like Greasers was like 50s, 60s maybe, Teddy Boys.
Yeah.
Similar.
But there's nothing really because they don't really use any like music in the film.
And there's no news or anything to give it a time. Maybe it made it as it could be any time. I've not been to New Zealand. Maybe that's what it's like now.
Possibly.
I don't want to offend any New Zealand listeners, by the way.
Yeah. I'm sure. Any Kiwis out there?
Yeah.
Well, it was just with his uncle saying as well, though, and it's saying, have you found your dad's porn like stash kind of thing? So it makes you think maybe it was VHS. So I can imagine if it was in the 50s, it'd have obviously VHSs then. So
yeah.
Is he actually come out and said, Jackson, that it's set in the 50s?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
thought
It's
I
just the
thought
look of the film,
six-
because like when they're in
50s,
the
60s,
when they're in the park with the pram, it's like an old timey pram as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting. But there's definitely like a TV in
Well,
the
yeah,
house.
even the fire engines at the end of near the end of the film as well, they look pretty old.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I did pick up on that at the end.
57.
That's what it said.
I'm on because I'm on fandom non-alien creatures reading about the Sumatran rat monkey, and it said it was discovered in 57 and then taken back to Wellington, and then led to a small outbreak of rage after Vera Cosgrove was bitten by it while attempting to snoop on her son Lionel on a date with a local Spanish girl named Paquita, and blah blah. Gives you loads of other stuff about it. So yeah, and that said 1957 in that.
Yeah. But there's quite a few films like that where they kind of like they take certain aspects of a period, but they don't specifically reference of being set in a certain time.
Yeah.
Like you look at, I mean, we went and watched Superman the movie at Manchester Classic Films, and like that's kind of like using the aesthetics of like the 1930s, but when Clark comes to Metropolis, all of the taxis are kind of like 1970s taxis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're kind of like taking elements here and there. But I never thought about this film as being like set in a period kind of thing. It's just kind of, I just took the look of the film to be, you know, the style that he was going for.
It's quite clever when you never think about it, and then sometimes there's films where that plays like a point in the plot, like one of the Final Destination films. I can't remember which one it is, like 5 or one of the later ones. But if you watch that, it just seems like any other Final Destination film.
Oh, it's the last one in it. It's
the last one that loops back to the first one.
But it's a prequel in it,
yeah. So they don't use mobile phones in it, and they don't do the certain things that if you actually rewatch it, you go, oh yeah, they didn't do this, and oh yeah, that is actually from that Coke logo or Pepsi logo is from like the early 90s or something. Yeah, it's
early 90s.
Things do date it, but you never notice it. You just because it's Final Destination, you don't think they're really, paying attention to the story. It's just how they're going to get killed. So
yeah,
I think it's quite clever sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, another thing as well, I forgot to touch on as well with Brain Dead is the start of the film as well, where they get the monkey and they're trying to, like, that tribe is chasing them, like bring the monkey back kind of thing, and they're chasing them, and then the main bloke there, I don't know what to say.
The expedition leading guy.
Yeah, he gets bitten, doesn't he, by the
on the arm.
Bitten on the arm, so they trap him down and they're like, so they cut his arm off and they say, look, he's been bit there as well, so they cut another part of his arm off on the other side. They're like, look, another bit there, and they chop his head off as well.
He's got a scratch on his head.
Yeah.
That's how it starts, because then doesn't that, well, what would be his blood do the Brain Dead title? Is that how it starts? Or am I getting confused? Like I thought that's what they chopped him in the head, and then the title Brain Dead comes up as if like the blood splattered onto the screen.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
but that's obviously a direct reference to what you were saying before about excuse me, the Monty Python bit. Chopping the legs off and chopping the arms off and stuff like that. That's obviously PJ's take on the whole. Dismembering bit.
Because he reminded me a bit of Derek as well from Bad Taste, that guy.
I was like, is that Peter Jackson? I was like, no, that's definitely not Peter Jackson. But
but he's like, he's like, I've got a form or something like that, and it's like they're all tribesmen who probably don't speak. I've got a form saying I can take this monkey.
Yeah.
It would have been interesting if that was actually meant to be like the thingy character from Bad Taste.
Yeah.
That would have, tied that in. But
he just disappeared in the Bad Taste, and he's in the I'm coming to get you, Bob.
Yeah.
So we never got that sequel. Wasn't that how Predator or something was supposed to? Isn't there some weird story about? I don't know if it was Predator or Alien. I think it was Alien or Aliens. That was supposed to end with an alien wearing Sigourney Weaver costume coming to Earth or something bizarre. Sure, I heard a story about that. Or just talking in her voice on the radio, like saying, "Yeah, this is Ellen Ripley. requesting permission to dock in Earth or something weird. I'm sure there was a story about that.
I've not heard of that one.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I might be dreaming it. I'm sure.
To be honest with you, Damien, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear that again.
yeah, but obviously we didn't go for it.
Yeah, thank God.
I'll see if I can find like a link to a story. If I
Yeah,
can't,
share it on the group or something.
I'm talking rubbish.
You never know.
Fever dream.
I can't see it making Alien Resurrection any better than what it was. So.
Okay. I've just had a quick Google. I can't see anything about that.
Did you dream it, Damien?
I may have done, yeah.
It was a nightmare, surely.
Yeah, I don't know. It might not have been Alien. It might have been another film similar to Alien. Like just I don't know.
It would make more sense, like with it being like a predator, because they can actually speak.
Yeah, so maybe it was a Predator film, then I don't know.
Yeah, possibly.
Or could it be a Critters? Could it be Critters film? Because they can speak.
Oh, no, here it is. Sorry. Here it is. So I found it on what is it? To Alien, Ridley Scott's original Into Alien. So Hollywood was Ridley Scott revealed he originally wanted Sigourney Weaver's Ellen Ripley dead at the end of a sci-fi horror masterpiece. I thought that the alien should come in and Ripley's harpoons it, and it makes no difference, so it slams through her mask and rips her head off. He says he goes on to say that the xenomorph would mimic the voice of Tom Skerritt's Captain Dallas, saying, "I'm signing off." Yeah, so I was similar, but nowhere near. That would have been a terrible ending, considering we wouldn't got Alien after that.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that we didn't get that ending.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It looks like Ridley Scott's not done with Alien, because he was banging on about Awakening again the other week, wasn't he? So.
Yeah. Is this supposed to be the sequel to Covenant?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is this going to be the prequel to Alien? Can you imagine?
Well, this is the one that's supposed to link into what happens in the Alien films, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not convinced that that's going to happen.
What I'm confused about, and I might be wrong about this, but when Prometheus was getting done, I'm sure that he fought against it becoming an Alien thing, that he didn't want to make it related to the Alien films at all, and the studio pushed him into it.
Yeah, I think I read that.
Yeah.
But then seemingly now he's all for it, and
that's why they added the Alien scene right at the end of Prometheus, and you just saw the Alien briefing for that. What was it, 10 seconds?
Yeah, because the studio.
It wasn't even the Alien, was it? It was something else called.
Yeah,
it was a pre-Alien, I think.
Yeah.
The next evolution, or whatever you call it, is going to be.
Because it did start out as being like an Alien prequel, but then he kind of got more interested in, where the story was going to go, and then, became more interested in the David character and the possibilities of AI and all that kind of stuff.
And
then that kind of got muddied with Covenant, because again, with like the fan backlash saying, "Oh, we didn't see the Alien and the Alien prequel, blah 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 blah." There was pressure to actually throw the alien in there, and that's why we got the kind of like the proto xenomorph in there, because that's not really the finished article.
Yeah.
In that.
What
seems to be getting closer every time, doesn't it?
Yeah, but just that wasn't the story that he wanted to tell. He did originally conceive it as being like a prequel to the Alien films, but then he got more interested as the story developed, and got more interested in the David character and all that kind of stuff. Because I remember he was influenced by is it the Chariot of the Gods?
Yeah.
When he was going through Prometheus.
I remember that.
It's I think it's a book which goes into kind of like these space gods, aliens that were kind of like
a bit like Lovecraft,
kind of like crop up in like all of like ancient Egyptian stuff, on the wall paintings and all kind of shite.
Okay.
And just looking into kind of like the I'm trying to Google it as I'm talking. It's not working, evidently. Chariot of the Gods.
Excuse me.
First book to introduce the shocking theory that ancient Earth had been visited by aliens. Yeah, so it was just kind of like the mythology of kind of like ancient gods, but there were actually aliens and stuff like that. And I know he was going on about the idea about what if Jesus Christ was actually an alien. Yeah. Anyway, it just evolved into something else. I like Prometheus. I was less enthused about Covenant because I felt like it kind of ignored the story of Prometheus and bowed to fan pressure.
Yeah.
I do want to see where they actually finish the story, so I am kind of like, I would like to see the third film because there's nothing worse than like not having a story kind of like that itself out.
Yeah, get Fassbender back and play David again.
Yeah, I think Fassbender would come back because he enjoyed playing that character.
I think he needs to after Dark Phoenix anyway.
Well,
he's been done some terrible ones. The Snowman,
Assassin's Creed.
He's not had a good run lately, Fassbender, and he's a great actor.
Yeah, definitely.
Wasn't the Snowman down to, again, studio interference though?
Yeah, I think, yeah. I don't know why a lot of these directors, I suppose they need funding though, so they have to do what, but yeah. But somebody like Ridley Scott, you think he'd be able to, say to a studio, look, I've done this before more than once, so give me credit and time to do what I want. And
I think that's why, he got Covenant off the ground, just through sheer strength of who he is and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
it's Fox for you.
Yeah.
They just
the metal.
Yeah, they just like to fucking ruin shit, don't they?
Yeah.
But Disney have got the Alien franchise now, haven't they? So
yeah, which is why I'm not entirely convinced that we're going to see it because I don't really think it fits with the. I don't think you'll ever see an Alien film with the Disney logo at the beginning of it, mate. I just can't see it happening.
Yeah. A lot of people said that about Deadpool, but they've said that they can do, if I want to do an R-rated Deadpool under Disney, will just do it under a sub banner. It won't be Disney. It'll be, like this, Touchstone or a subsidiary thing. So it won't, it might say a Disney company in small letters, but other than that, that's all you'll see at Disney.
Yeah.
So they might do that.
Well, I think that's down to how much money Deadpool's actually worth to them, though. 800 million a piece on each film, whereas Covenant, I think, only brought back like 250 mil, or something like that. It didn't bring back a lot. I think it doubled its budget, if that.
So do you think they'll go for like a Covenant sequel, or do you think they'll go for this Neil Blomkamp Alien 5 thing?
Well, I heard rumblings about that again, coming back, but I think there's been too long between when the concept art came out and, now the discussions are happening again. I think Sigourney Weaver's too old, Michael Bihn's probably too old now. And I really don't need to see a 72-year-old fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger in another Terminator film. And I feel the same way about like Sigourney Weaver in an Alien film. I don't need to see, how old's she now? She's got to be fucking up there.
Got to be in her late 60s, hasn't she?
And
Michael Bihn's probably the same.
Yeah, well, apparently she's supposed to be coming back for Ghostbusters 3. Now that Bill Murray's signed off and said that he's open to actually coming back for.
Well, they're all coming back, aren't they?
Yeah. And it's like I don't really know how I feel about that.
So this is the weird thing though with this Ghostbusters 3, because there've been rumours about this now for years, haven't there? And then there was all up for it, say about 7 years ago, and then Bill Murray said he weren't doing it, and then Dan Aykroyd did a script and he said it cost too much or something to make the film, and then that got knocked on the head, and then he brought out this all female cast Ghostbusters. That bombs. We've got back to the original plan of let's just do a sequel to Ghostbusters 2. But everybody seems to be back on board for it now.
Yeah,
why did you do it in the first place when you were 10 years younger?
Slows right down, doesn't it?
Yeah. Bill Murray was in an interview the other day or the other week. He said that he was never against coming back to do another Ghostbusters film, which is completely contrary to another interview that I read where he said that he wasn't interested in reprising the character. But he basically said that if you're going to blame anyone, blame Sony, because they wouldn't renegotiate the deal that they did in 1984. So essentially, Sony didn't want to pay him any extra money than what they promised in 1984 for the original Ghostbusters film.
Right.
But now that he's held out for so long, they've had no option but to renegotiate and give him a better deal. So
Right. Well, I mean, a lot of over time as well, you've lost Harold Ramis, haven't you? He's passed away. He's gone. So, and they're all what, in the late 60s now, early 70s, actors and actresses.
Yeah, it just shows how fucking bankrupt Hollywood is of like new ideas, like, where we're getting to the point where Sigourney Weaver's 69, she's going to be in a fucking another Aliens film. Don't need that. Arnold Schwarzenegger's 72, 73, whatever he is, in another Terminator film. I mean, really? Fucking Sylvester Stallone, doing Rambo. And now he's talking about Rambo 6, and I'm just like, fucking let it die. Just let it die, because the more and more you bring out these kind of like, they're not even reboots, are they? But I suppose they are kind of like a soft reboot. But the more you drag the franchise out over time, the more you dilute the franchise's quality. Because I can't go back now and watch like Terminator 1 and Terminator 2 without knowing that Terminator 3 for fucking Genesis and Salvation exist,
Yeah.
And it's a shame. It's because for me, Terminator franchise ends after Terminator 2. Didn't need anything else. That's a perfect ending for it.
I'm with you on that. Yeah.
We don't have perfect endings now, we don't allow it. So if something ends, they'll go, oh, well, people liked it. Let's make more. And you're like, no.
Yeah.
They liked it because
money for that. So let's see if we can get a little bit more money out of them. And it's just like, but you're making me feel like I don't want to go and revisit the originals anymore because,
Although John Wick, you're aiming for John Wick 4, so that must be doing all right.
Yeah, but I mean, we're not talking about a film franchise that's going over 40 years, are we? We're talking about something that's literally not even 10 years old at this point.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves is only in his early 50s anyway. These actors and actresses were in the 70s, so.
Yeah, I mean, if we get 5 films out of John Wick, I think that'll be more than enough. But it's one of those. I'll watch them as long as he's able to actually do them, because even on the kind of like a bad run, which I think John Wick Chapter 3 is probably the worst. I said this before. I think it's the worst of the 3 story-wise, but action-wise, it's easily the best.
Right. Okay.
So, when was it? 2014. There you go. So it's only 5 years old, and they've got 3 films out.
Hell yeah, they're pumping them out then, aren't they, really?
Yeah. Well, he's how old is he now?
52. Is it 52?
54.
54.
Yeah. But look at Tom Cruise as well. I suppose he's like an exception to the rule.
Yeah.
Because he's pumping out Mission Impossibles, and the last Mission Impossible was better than all of the others combined. From
pretty much, yeah.
And just fucking awesome.
He didn't look like he was struggling at any point in that film, did he?
No, not at all. Even when he fucking snapped his ankle, he didn't look like he was struggling.
Cracked on. It's gone.
Yeah.
So,
it's like fine wine getting better with age.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll fucking knock out Justin Bieber, because he offered him out in a fucking UFC fight.
Yeah, I still, to this day, don't know what the hell that was about.
I think he's just after headlines, isn't he? So, but then he backpedaled on it and said he was only joking, as if Tom Cruise was going to take that seriously anyway.
But... Tom Cruise didn't even respond, and he's like, oh my god.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not even responding to that bullshit. But he would absolutely fucking, he'd just fucking knock 7 bells out of him, because all of the films that Tom Cruise has done, all the action films that Tom Cruise has done, even though he's just kind of like, training choreography and hand-to-hand combat and all that kind of stuff, some of that carries over into the real world. I'm sure of it.
And Tom Cruise is dedicated, so he probably will have put his mind to learning a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Just to, to do the role better.
Yeah.
Like Reeves Reeves knows martial arts, and he's like the man of Tai Chi and stuff. I think I've seen him do a lot of, obviously in The Matrix, but I think he does study martial arts, and Keanu Reeves.
Well,
Yeah,
he trains Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under the Machado brothers. So
Oh, right, okay.
I don't know what level he is, but he's obviously a high enough level to make the moves that he does in John Wick look realistic.
Yeah.
So
what was that ninja film we brought out a couple of years back, Reeves?
Ninja film.
Not
the 40 Ninjas or whatever it was. When we looked 47 Ronin or something.
Yeah, I think
that was it. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah.
He did a lot of kung fu in that, didn't he?
Well, that was sword training in that one, wasn't it?
Or was it sword training? I've only ever seen it once, so it was a while back. So
yeah. I haven't seen it, but I remember the poster was him with a samurai sword.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So
it's not great. It was all right.
Yeah, I think the trailer looked better than the actual film.
Some little good bits in the film, but yeah, it's
175 million that film cost.
What did it bring back?
151.
Wow. That's 47 Ronin.
Yeah.
That never cost that much. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Apart from Keanu Reeves, you've got your standard mainstay Japanese actors who you see in a lot of films.
Where's that money gone then?
Yeah, as I said, did not look like they'd spent that much money on that film.
Wow.
I suppose it had at least 47 actors to pay, so.
Well, Keanu Reeves is famously not even that interested in money because he gave away most of his back end for the Matrix sequels to like the stunt team. So, I mean, I'm sure he got a decent wedge out of it, but I can't see. Well, there's Marvel films that haven't cost that much. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I don't know. Who knows? One of those, another one of those instances of creative Hollywood accounting.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's it, guys, because we've not talked about Braindead for the last half an hour or so, so we might as well.
You got a good mention to Braindead in this episode. I'm proud.
Have we got any final thoughts on it before we wrap it up then?
Go on, Damian.
I don't know. I'd just recommend, it's free on YouTube, so it's not hard to find. You've all got YouTube, so yeah, if you haven't watched it in a while, get it watched. It's lighthearted for a horror comedy film. It's a fairly easy watch. You don't have to think about the story, and yeah, just like I say, get to a halfway point when it really kicks off, and just have a bit of fun.
Well, to be honest, it's probably best if you don't think about the story.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Lee? Yeah, practical effects in it. Yeah, just check out the practical effects. The film is worth a watch, I think, just to see where Peter Jackson started his career, kind of thing. The story itself pretty straightforward. Acting is not the best. I've seen better acting in my little left finger as opposed to this film, but the practical effects. Yeah, go check it out. The film's worth watching just for them effects. When I say maybe half an hour into the film, when the shit starts hitting the fan, you know what I mean, that's where it's most enjoyable. So it's worth checking out. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's a thumbs up. I'd say it's like a more sad film. Give it a wave, if you know what I mean. It's just in the middle. But like I say, if you're a Peter Jackson fan, just go and check it out.
Yeah, it's pretty rough around the edges from a filmmaking point of view, but the special effects definitely make it worth a watch.
I think if you get that first half an hour out of the way and you suss the film out and you know what it's about and it's going to be cheesy as hell this, but you're into it then. I think you think you know what to expect after half an hour of the film. You know what you're going to get.
Yeah. The scenes just keep on coming after that. There's no let up really.
Yeah.
Just scene after scene of
Especially that lawnmower scene with 10 minutes around that scene there, and it's all bodies getting chopped up, and he's saying, like you said, punches. That woman gets her head punched with a fist, and it comes through her mouth and stuff like that, and all that shit's going on for 10 minutes, and you think, oh Jesus, you know what I mean? When are you going to end this? But the film actually comes to an abrupt end. Right at the end when he obviously takes his mum out and he fights her off, and it just kind of he walks off with Nikita right at the end, and that's it. It's the end. And it's all right, and you know what I mean. There's nothing else extra. It's just that. Yeah. So.
I don't think there's anything else that's needed at that point, though, is there? Because the whole film is just kind of like about how many inventive ways can we actually show someone be killed and dismembered and all that kind of stuff, and like the romance and the plot is pretty much secondary. So once they've killed everything off, there's nothing else to tell, really, is there? So
Yeah.
There's a lot of scenes as well that I just remembered actually, where somebody gets bitten, or Lionel sees somebody get bit, or something will happen, and the camera zooms to Lionel's face, he'd be like, ah! There's a lot of scenes like that in the whole film. Yeah. Well overdone.
Last saw stuff like that on Benny Hill.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There is a lot of Monty Python and kind of like Benny Hill in there, because, like I was saying, there is kind of like a bit of a crossover, between the Kiwi and like British humour. So it does all feel very familiar. If you grew up in the 80s, even though this is, as we've just discovered, set in the 50s, it does feel awfully familiar.
But
in a
that's
weird
another
way.
thing I noticed as well. They listen to the Archers on the radio. Don't know if you remember the bit where he puts the radio on and it's the Archers, and he's like, "Oh, I'm really like pretending to listen to it." It's turned up really loud just for some reason. So there's a lot of British nods in there, definitely.
There we have it. That's another episode in the tin. Brain Dead. Damian's pick. Thank you very much for coming on the show, Damian. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Damian.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I just want to ask you, Damian, as well, should have asked you this at the start of the episode as well. Because you're an avid listener to the podcast. What's your favourite episode, would you say, or favourite episodes? What stand out?
Well, obviously tying into what we've just discussed. Shaun of the Dead, which is obviously the latest one.
Yeah.
Just because it's obviously zombies.
Well, Simon Pegg did say that this film was actually quite a big influence for Shaun of the Dead.
Okay, so, yeah, you can definitely obviously tell. Peg's a bit of a film aficionado, isn't he? So, the Lord of the Rings episode, again, Peter Jackson. And Frighteners, I know, Lee, that was one of the first episodes that I think you picked, one of your picks, I think. But yeah, I mean, you can see like Mike mentioned earlier, like how he grew as a filmmaker, he's switching to digital effects rather than simply just practical ones. But I think, there's a good mix in Frighteners. And if you haven't seen Frighteners, I think it was on Netflix or Prime or one of them up until fairly recently. It's probably still on there now, but it is a very good overall film. There's not really much in there that lets it down. It's just, so that episode's worth listening to and watch the film as a company piece. But yeah, and obviously Labyrinth, because that's literally my mum's, mine, and my daughter's favourite film. So
nice.
Who doesn't like Labyrinth?
Yeah, good.
Awesome.
Cool pick.
Any shout outs before we call it a do?
Just I'm going to be on Get to the Chopper podcast on Sunday.
You're on this week, are you?
Yeah, live.
Is that you and Moonhead, Andy?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm on there. I don't know if I'm on camera or not. I don't really normally do camera, so.
Is there a topic or?
I think there's a few things. Obviously, like just general geeky chat. We're going to talk about a bit about wrestling, a little bit about. I don't know if we're going to
video games.
Yeah, just general stuff really, and see what happens.
Nice.
But yeah, and just everybody in the Untitled Film Podcast group. It's nice to have a good chat about film.
Yeah, good.
Awesome. Check out Damian on the Get to the Chopper podcast. That's Sunday, the 23rd of June.
Yep, at 9.
That means that'll already have gone out by the time this podcast goes out, unfortunately. But if you missed it, then go back and listen to it, because even though it'll be done live, is it done live on Facebook now? Is Andy doing it?
Yeah, he's doing them live on Facebook now, and then uploading them obviously morning after, I'm guessing.
Right.
So
wherever you get your podcast from, you'll be able to go back and listen to that.
I'll have to pretend that I'm on this one later, then. So when I'm on that one, I'll be saying, also, I'm going to be on with Mike and Lee talking about Brain Dead 2.
Time travel.
So, yeah, like we do on Strictly when they pretend it's Saturday night when it's Sunday.
Yeah. And they pre-recorded like Graham Norton recorded on the Wednesday.
Yeah.
Awesome. Lee, have you got anything that you want to shout out?
Just Yeah, I'll give a shout out to everybody on the group, Facebook group and Instagram as well. We've had a lot of recent followers, and the downloads have been really good recently as well. I think we're nearly hitting, is it 900 or?
We're coming up to 900,
900 downloads, yeah. So, yeah, hats off to everybody who's been downloading and listening to the episodes. Me and Mike have done. Hats off to Damian as well for making his first special guest appearance on the show. So, cheers for that, Damian.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get him back on to actually do LA Confidential in the near future.
Yeah, that could be the round two.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that.
Or you could keep Peter Jackson and go for Bad Taste.
I'm going to do that to Mike.
Yeah, well, you obviously had a short list because you got like your 600 discs there to go through.
Yeah, I've got loads more. Yeah,
I'm sure there's some
the
stuff.
wife's put some of hers in as well, so I was looking. I'm like, I haven't got Sex and the City series 2.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, if you do have it, you're definitely not admitting to it. Awesome, guys. It's been a pleasure having you.
Series 2 though, Damian? Why do Series 2?
She's got all of them.
Oh, you know what?
Series 2 must be the one where they get naked the most, I reckon.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, let you know, Damian.
Right. Yeah, we'll call it a do there, guys. So thank you very much for listening, and we will be back in a couple of weeks with John Wick Chapter 2, and also keep an eye out. I am still doing my commentaries for the MCU films. You can go and sync up your discs and listen to the Iron Man commentary that I did, and the Incredible Hulk's out, and the next one I'll be doing is obviously Iron Man 2, so they will be coming along in the near future. Other than that, that's it. So thank you very much, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.